I don't even know where to start with this. This is going to be the cringiest thing I've ever said, and I hate when other people say this. I'm literally shaking right now. I mean, my hands cannot stay steady. Victor Robles with the greatest catch in franchise history when you factor in, how much this game meant. How Raleigh breaks the record and the Mariners win the series against Houston, and they take firm control of the American League West. What is up? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back and welcome into the Seattle Mariners post-game recap. 6-4, the Mariners defeat the Astros, win this series to improve to 86-69 on the season. As always, if you guys, gals, can like the video, comment your thoughts on the team and the game down below. This is going to be a terrible recap because I'm just going to be all over the place. And hit subscribe if you're new or lurking. Hop on for the journey. This season is far from over. We're going to have a lot of fun with these final 7 games and then what looks to be a postseason run as well for the Seattle Mariners. Oh, my gosh. It felt like the 2022 Game 1. That's what it was feeling like there. Once Pena hit that grand slam, and then the Astros put more guys on in the 8th and more guys on the 9th. But you know what? This Mariners team did not allow that to happen. They were not at 100% today. Munoz was clearly gassed, right? This team has got to be exhausted. They've won so many games here of late, so many close games, so many nail biters, so many huge games, and they found a way, dug deep, and pulled it out and win the biggest series, regular season series this team has had. Couldn't even put on a date on when a bigger regular season series has taken place for the Seattle Mariners. And that might be the difference. Maybe that's the difference between this year and 22. Obviously, we hope the difference is a AL West title, a bye, and more. But winning a game like this, I'm not saying this was Game 1, right? That game was more important. But, this is about as big of a regular season game as you can get. And this one, they found a way to pull it out late. They made the plays they didn't make in that game. And that's kind of a changing of the guard. I know people are probably tired of hearing it. But like the Seahawks had to get over that 49ers hump, right? Like sometimes it's just those little plays you didn't make before, you make them, and that's what puts you over the top here. Obviously, and listen, not only was this huge for the division, but if you lose this game, if they would have come out and lost 12, 13, nothing, something like that, I apologize, had to pause the video there, but if they lost like 12, 13, nothing, I could have said, hey, throw it away, win tomorrow, you're in great shape. But if they would have lost this one up 6-0, it would have been so gut-wrenching. And then, you got Cleveland refusing to lose a baseball game in the wild card. We would have probably had to talk about, do they make the playoffs? Because, how do you bounce back if they would have lost this playing tomorrow? How do you play that game? But they didn't. They find a way. They pull it out. Cal Raleigh broke the record for most home runs ever by a Seattle Mariner in this game. And I feel like I don't even really care about it. Obviously I do, but I'm just so fired up that they won this game. And we talked about it going into this series. The winner of this series is in prime position. Now you have a chance tomorrow to probably put the AL West not probably. If the Mariners win tomorrow, I will say the AL West is over. I think they're in really great shape right now. And probably if you went to Fangraphs, probably 95% to win the AL West, even if they lost tomorrow. But you've got a chance to absolutely just end this tomorrow night, where if you just win 3 games in your homestand, doesn't matter what Houston does, you are American League West champions. But we'll get to that tomorrow. But for right now, they've got the tiebreaker now over Houston. They're 2 up, which is essentially 3 up. Now they do play one more tomorrow, so Houston can get one of those back. But everything's aligned for you. Houston's got to go play a pesky tough A's team in Sacramento after this series. You get the Rockies at home and a day off Monday. Now, certainly you never overlook any opponent, obviously, but the Mariners are in really good shape here to win the American League West. It is right there. And going even further, the Mariners are now 2 games up on a bye. What's Cleveland? Detroit's 85, right? So a game up with the tiebreaker. The Mariners are 2 games clear of not even having to play in the wild card round. We've talked about it, but I don't think we've ever seriously dove into that. What did Toronto do today? They could be like 3 back in the 1. I think they're 3 behind the 1 seed. That's going to be tough because Toronto has the tiebreaker. And I'll be honest, 1, 2, I don't care. If we get to the LCS, fine. I'll start in Toronto if that's where you end up playing. No problem. I'll gladly take that crack there at the Blue Jays. The 2 seed is great because you don't have to play in the wild card. But the 1 seed, I'm not super worried about that. If they can get it, great, obviously, but I'm not going to lose sleep over that. Truthfully, what this team should be pushing for now is that 2 seed. That is the goal now. Obviously, get in first, win the West, take care of that business. But what we should be looking at now as a team to get that number 2 seed, just absolutely incredible. It shouldn't be lost how good George Kirby was in this game today, and him getting out of that jam in the 6th inning. And how big was that? Because at the time, kind of thinking, Houston gets a run here, not that big a deal. Just wiggle out of this with only allowing 1. Had he allowed a run there, this game could have looked a lot different. So George Kirby, absolutely fantastic. He has stepped up his last 2 starts and been phenomenal after having a bit of a tough stretch. It's back-to-back great starting pitching performances in this game. It's actually 3 straight starts where your starter has not given up an earned run. Castillo in Kansas City, Wu last night, and then George Kirby today. And it's really going to be the secret for the Seattle Mariners, maybe not a secret, but the key for them in the playoffs. We know the offense, right? The pitching. Can we get that pitching to be more 23, 24? And I think they're getting there. Good news on Brian Wu. There is some inflammation, but they're thinking he's going to avoid an IL stint, which is huge. You can probably push Wu back if you need to. You probably don't need him to pitch against the Rockies. You could even make a case Wu doesn't even need to pitch the rest of the regular season. Just get ready for the postseason. Maybe you have him throw like 2 innings against the Dodgers or something just to stay in a rhythm here and whatnot. But yeah, it looks like they've certainly avoided the worst there with Brian Wu. So very good news on that front as well. And, like I said, if you have to skip a start and he doesn't start that 3rd game against Colorado, so be it, obviously. I mean, that catch by Victor Robles, just absolutely insane. I thought for sure that ball was down off the bat. I'm like, he got it. It's going to get down. I'm looking at Julio the whole time. I'm like, it's just dropping into no man's land there. And, Myers is running. He took off. They're going to be 6-5. Pena is going to be at 3rd, and Correa is going to be, 1st and 3rd. And they're going to get it done. They're going to get that run in and tie the game. Then Victor Robles just coming in like Superman out of nowhere. Lois Lane's about to fall, and you're like, oh my gosh, who's going to save her? And then boom, there's Superman. That was Victor Robles on that catch there, except in Superman, I know he's coming to save. There, I didn't see anybody. I guess maybe like the first appearance of Superman when he didn't know. I'm all over the place with this recap. I'm sorry. But just incredible. Then Myers off with it. And, I'm looking at it, I'm not even hearing Goldie because I'm just screaming. Then I thought, did they say no catch? Because I see Myers rounding home. Like, did they he trapped that ball and didn't catch it? And I'm just, my brain is going all over the place there. And then, no, clean catch. And oh my gosh, what a finish. What a finish for the Mariners. Breathe, everybody. Take a deep breath. Man, get ready for it because it's going to be a lot more of this season. And I mean that in a positive way. Stress baseball, it sounds crazy. It's good baseball. The reason we're stressed, the reason you're shaking and I'm shaking is because how much this means. Because this is what we've wanted. I know I'm repeating myself from other videos, but all the years where we'd be like, hey, nice catch. Mariners won that game. Wow, cool. This just means more. I mean, for everybody that has sat through the last 20 something years, this is for all of you. This is for you guys. And hopefully they haven't done it yet, but they're close. They're getting there. They control everything they need to control. Just absolutely incredible. Let's dive into the box score here. George Kirby, 6 innings, 5 hits, no runs, nowhere, no walks, 7 Ks. Kirby was fantastic. Thought he's a little shaky early on, didn't have the great command. Even later on, like his misses were pretty bad, but then settled in and got some swing and miss. The helped. Shane Livensbarger was really rough behind home plate. And I do think he benefited the Mariners a little bit tonight more than Houston. But, Kirby's still working the zone there and did a fantastic job to get his 10th win of the year. Not only great to see Kirby pitch like this for this game, but how important George Kirby's going to be the rest of the year, right? Like you're going to need him when you get to the postseason. Again, fingers crossed. Still looking for that 3rd guy. Castillo's been great his last few starts, and now Kirby's joining that mix. And like you said, like Bryce hasn't been amazing, but has been much better in September than he was first half of the year. Vargas was bad. Listen, I will say this. One, I thought Dan should have taken him out with the bases loaded. dogs, of course, just wouldn't go one. They didn't bark yesterday when I did the 2 a.m. recap. I thought Dan should have taken him out when the bases were loaded. Now, listen, Pena's not a big home run hitting guy. Does have 17, so he can hit him. You're probably thinking worst case scenario, Pena gets a hit. Dan probably wanted to avoid Bizardo, Spire, Munoz, and Brash today. That's fair. It is. But you got to win the games, and they end up having to use those guys anyways. I probably just would have gone to Bizardo there to face Pena. Now, in Vargas's very slight defense here, Diaz reaches on a little bleeder that goes 2 feet, right? It literally just dribbled to third base. Nothing Gino could do. That's bad luck. That's a good pitch. That's what you want. Weak contact. Sanchez has a solid hit, and then he hit, who did he hit? Did he hit Myers? Myers get hit twice in this game? Oh, no, he hit Cam Smith in that to load the bases up. Even Jeremy Pena's home run, it was hit hard, right? It's an exit velo of 99. The expected batting average on the Pena home run was .050. In all but 3 stadiums, it's not a home run, and it's probably a very routine flyout. Not an excuse. Vargas was not good. He needs to be better, and he's pitching in Houston, right? So, once we get to the playoffs, if someone hits a home run in Toronto, let's just say it's a Mickey Mouse home run, meaning out in one ballpark, can't go, well, the season's over. But, that only would have been a home run in Toronto. I mean, I'll mention it because I think it's important to recognize, how pitchers are throwing, but you still got to get the outs. And Vargas was not good enough today. He's also been really solid his last few outings. Again, I can be a little more forgiving when the Mariners win the game, but that could have been really bad for the ball club. Now, I have no problem, Dan, going to Vargas to start the inning. You're 9 outs away. You're up 6-0. You would have hoped you could have gone Vargas, maybe Legumina and Hancock to finish it. Unfortunately, he couldn't, but it's okay. You still get the win, and that's the most important thing here at this point. But Vargas was not good. Bizardo was fine, 2/3 an inning. The 2 hits he gave up, Altuve with the solid base hit. Caratini hits one that just goes over the bag at first base again. And Bizardo does get the benefit of the doubt more than Vargas because of how good he has been. Nothing you can do there. And then a huge strikeout of Yainer Diaz there. Because if they even get, Diaz gets a sac fly there again, that could have mattered in the 9th. I know it was a double play that didn't score any runs on the Robles catch, but who knows? Maybe that just sequence goes a little differently there, only up by 1 run. Spire, fantastic, comes in, just blows it by Christian Walker. Spire should be good to go tomorrow, which is huge. And again, Munoz not great, I don't think, in the 9th, pitching his 3rd straight day. He hits Jake Myers. Astros got to be a little frustrated. There was a lot of hit by pitches in this one, but clearly nothing intentional in a game like this. The Mariners are not trying to make a statement by doing that. Obviously, up 2 in the 9th. Pena, and he strikes out, who is the rookie that was batting there? Cole. I keep wanting to say Colt Keith. That's the Tigers guy. This is Keith Cole. Zach Cole. I don't know why I'm getting Colt Keith, and so Zach Cole. A little bit I thought of a hanger that Cole swung through, but still rookie got him out. And I'll actually say this, the 3-2 to Pena, you got to tip your cap to Jeremy Pena there spitting on that pitch. That was a perfect slider. Pena chases out of the zone a lot. You would think he would have chased that slider. He just spit on it. So nothing you can do there. And even the Correa hit, I don't know what the exit velo was on it. Does it have it here maybe? It does not. I'm not going to go to Savant and look it up, but I don't think it was hit that hard. So that would have been a bit of a bloop, I think. Let me see. Let me pull up Savant here and see what the exit velo was on that Correa hit. Let's see. Where's the Mariners? There we go. Hey, look at that. Win probability, 100%. Mariners had the top 5 hardest hits today, exit velo, and the top 5 pitching velocities. George Kirby, 11 swing and misses. Yeah, it was only 80. It was 80 off the bat. So it was not hit hard at all. It would have been a bloop from Correa. So, while I don't think Munoz was, again, at his best, Pena spits on a great slider, loses one to Myers, and then Correa was trying to just dump one in there. So now that I kind of go back through, I actually think Munoz was probably fine in this one, to be perfectly honest. The Astros are just kind of voodooing their way there a little bit to maybe tying the game, but Victor Robles said on that one. Offensively, the Mariners put up 6 runs, 9 hits, 5 walks. Tremendous job by this team against Framber Valdez. Valdez has given the Mariners some fits. I feel like the Mariners are either getting owned by Valdez or just crushing him. Love the at-bats. They really did a good job spitting on some of those curveballs and change-ups out of the zone. Thought Cal had some really good at-bats against him where he spit on a few. Gino with the ringing double. They chase him there in the 5th inning with a clutch 2-out base hit for Polanco. It didn't score a run, but then Naylor works the walk, and then Dom with the base hit. That was one of my favorite innings of the year, believe it or not, just because I think it was Cal working a walk. Then you had Julio, just an inside-out base hit, 1st and 2nd. Then you've got Polo, 2-out hit, just doesn't do too much with it. Naylor spits on some really good pitches from Valdez, works the walk. Then Dom gets behind 0-2 and again, doesn't try to get cute, just a pitch that's coming in on him a little bit, just turns on it, puts in the right field to get another run home. Probably not my favorite inning of the year. I'm sure they had that 10-run inning in Atlanta, but just the way they did it. I also love the run they scored in the 2nd inning. I thought was great. You had the leadoff bloop hit from Naylor. Naylor steals 2nd. Garver fly ball moves Naylor over to 3rd. Victor Robles sack fly brings Naylor home. Beautiful baseball. Absolutely beautiful. And it's something we have criticized this team for in the past, right? Is they rely so much on the home run. The home run is beautiful. Don't think you're coming here going, oh, Jay's one of these guys that just don't know. Please, everybody hit a home run. It would be great. You'd score a lot of runs. Mariners have scored a lot of runs this year because they hit a lot of home runs. But it's also nice to see them execute some small ball baseball in those situations. Sure, Garver hitting a 2-run home run there have been better, of course. But it's also nice to know runner at 2nd, and they just do the little things to move them over. And again, that is going to be so important if you get to the postseason, because you're going to be facing good pitchers like Valdez. I know he's been off his last few starts, but he's still a quality pitcher. And that's what you're going to have to do, is manufacture a couple runs. And then you mix in the home runs, and then you're just perfection there. Love the 2-out work in the 1st inning. Julio gets on with a walk. Great at-bat stay from Julio. Gino drills a double. 3rd inning, Cal. Did I talk back that Cal broke the record for most home runs in a single season by a Mariner? If I said it earlier, I'm sorry. That's this game. I'm not even keeping track of where I'm at. But yeah, Cal Raleigh just casually breaks Ken Griffey Jr.'s record for most home runs in a single season by Seattle Mariners, by a Seattle Mariner. Shout out to Cal Raleigh. I mean, just every time I'm blown away. 57 home runs. He's going to have a chance at 60. He's going to have a chance. He's going to face a really bad pitching staff starting on Tuesday as well. So that might be a good opportunity for it. Just incredible. And that's just the magic this team has had this season. Cal Raleigh just broke Ken Griffey Jr.'s record for most home runs in a single season by a Seattle Mariner. And it's not like some slouch, Mariners only been around 10 years and some random no-name hit 31 home runs. Ken Griffey Jr., a Hall of Famer, one of the best. I mean, everybody, when I was a kid, man, you were emulating Griffey. You had the hat backwards and you had the little, waggle in your swing. Even not in Washington. When I moved out of Washington, everybody, when I went there, did you go to Mariners games? Did you watch Ken Griffey Jr. play? Again, back in the day when you didn't have all the, internet stuff as much, it was around, but you were switching buttons to get on your modems. So a lot of people didn't get to see those guys. Going on a long tangent here, but Cal Raleigh just broke that record. Nobody in the history of this baseball team has hit more home runs in a single season than the Big Dumper. And shows you how special this team is. It took like 16 minutes into the video to mention it. That just goes to show how amazing this season has been. I think I did mention it earlier. I think I casually said it, but just absolutely, absolutely incredible. Huge run. They end up scoring in the 7th too, right? I think Naylor had a kind of a bloop base hit again, or no. Did he walk it? How did they? Oh no, it was Gino. Gino had the double. Polo scored him. Naylor moved him over and Polanco had the base hit. Man, at the time, I didn't think much when Dom struck out with a runner at 3rd with 1 out that it would really hurt the Mariners, but would have liked to get that extra run in there. Oh my gosh, what a victory. Okay, let's just go through the box score real quick. Randy 0 for 5. Need a Randy hot streak. Randy has cooled off. Again, I'm not much of a big batting order person. I've said that several times. Now, when I say that, I want to be clear. I do think there are optimal orders, right? I don't think the Mariners hitting Julio 8th and Cal Raleigh 9th would be smart to take out bats away from them. But I also the Mariners are kind of in, if it's not broken, don't fix it a little bit, in my opinion. I don't think you need to move Randy down. I think you just need Randy to be Randy. The wins are, it's kind of like Gino's cold streak, right? It kind of went unnoticed a little bit because the Mariners were just rolling, and Arozarena too, but definitely want to see him get going because you are going to need Randy. There's going to be points in this season when you absolutely need him here down the stretch. Cal 1 for 4, had a walk, and the home run number 57. What's he had for RBIs now? 119. So Cal's going to have a great chance. He's going to get over 120 RBIs on the season for the MVP. Julio, really solid quiet, but solid quiet. 1 for 4 with a walk, 2 runs scored, a stolen base. Loved how they were stealing off Valdez there. Clearly, he has no caring about holding anybody on. And Yainer Diaz has struggled throwing guys out. Love to see the speed. Some Mariners have done a good job at all year. Josh Naylor has been a dog on the bases as well. Gino with a solid day, really solid day. 2 for 4, 2 doubles and a walk. Gino on board 3 times. Polanco has a couple hits, another double and an RBI. Naylor 1 for 3 with an RBI on the walk. What an at-bat there by Josh Naylor. He has a great day, so he's on board twice. Garver was 0 for 2, but listen, his fly out helped produce a run. Good by Dan to have Dom pinch hit there in that 5th inning. Right call, bases loaded, go left on right there. Play the matchups, and Dom came through for him. Robles was 1 for 3 with the sac fly. Robles will be remembered tonight for his defense, and JP was 0 for 3 with a walk. So I thought Dan did a good job there. Actually, one thing, Dan actually did a good job today. He had Brash up in the 6th when Kirby was running into trouble. That was a great spot. Go to your best in the tight spots. Pizzardo in the 7th as well. I think he's going to get ripped for leaving Vargas in, and I think he should have taken him out. I think he just got a little greedy. I think he's trying to get one more, figuring the worst Pena is probably going to do is get a 2-run single here. Then we'll go Pizzardo. We're still okay. If Vargas can wiggle out of this, I can go to Legumina. I can go to a Hancock. I could go to Luke Jackson, someone like that, to maybe polish this one off here and save my leverage arms. Didn't work out. Listen, the odds of Pena hitting a grand slam there are low, right? It just happened to be the worst imaginable outcome happened. Doesn't mean it was the right call to leave him in, but I think Dan managed this pretty well today. Then he went to Pizzardo for the 8th, went to Spire there. I thought for a second maybe Pizzardo over Sanchez was the better matchup, but Walker kind of has reverse splits. He's struggling. He's probably trying to do a little too much in those at-bats. So you go to Spire versus him, and it pays off. And then Munoz in the 9th is the right call. Yes, he was a little gassed, but that is absolutely the right call. This is that time of the year for these guys. Did I go over the playoff stuff already? Let's just break it down one more time, because why not? If I already did and you want to turn off the video, go for it. Just make sure to leave that like, comment, and subscribe if you're heading out. Okay, so the Mariners are 2 up in the American League West, which is essentially 3. You know what? Let's just pull up the standings here, actually, while we're here. Let's do a little standings rundown. Let's go over everything. Okay, first let's look at the AL West. Mariners are 2 up in the American League West, which right now is essentially 3. They have clinched the tiebreaker over Houston no matter what happens tomorrow. So right now the Mariners, that's why their AL West magic number is 5. So that's the combination of Mariners wins and Astros losses. The Mariners win tomorrow, that will go down to 3. The Mariners win tomorrow, it is over. You can come back and clip this. Maybe I should word it like this. It certainly should be over if they win tomorrow. If it's not, that's on them. But that would put it at 3. That means any combination of wins and losses from you and from the Mariners and Houston up to 3, it's over. So Houston goes 6-0, but if you sweep the Rockies, the West would be over. So that's where that stands. Now, right now, it's at, where it's at. Let's say Houston does win tomorrow. Let's just go through that scenario. They'd be a game back, essentially 2. Your magic number would be 5. I mean, if you go 5-1 on the homestand, you win the AL West. You go 4-2, Houston can lose a game, essentially. So you'd still be in really good shape. You'd essentially be 2 up on Houston with 6 to play on them. But it would definitely be a little more nerve-wracking, right? Because this team could be a little exhausted going, home after this and everything. So we'll see. But either way, they're going to go home in either really good shape or picture-perfect shape. Wild card standings. Let's just look at it because it is still something we should look at for sure. The Yankees and Red Sox, and right now, Cleveland has the 3rd wild card. They have the tiebreaker over Houston. Believe it or not, the Houston Astros would not be in the playoffs if they started tomorrow. Cleveland would be. I mean, if Cleveland was just normal over the last couple of weeks, guys, the Mariners have won what? 13 out of 14. Cleveland has won the same over that time frame. Now, they're probably thinking, man, the Mariners won't lose, but they're catching other teams. If Cleveland was 9-4, which is great over that stretch, Mariners' magic number would be like 2. They could clinch a playoff spot tomorrow, potentially. But because of that, it's kind of keeping them a little bit on edge for a playoff spot because of what Cleveland's doing. And you still have Houston lingering there as well. So New York and Boston, the Mariners are also a game up on Boston as well there. So they have a little bit of buffer too in that wild card race. Nice thing here is, and then actually let's go over this and we'll talk about the bye. One good thing here with the wild card race. Obviously the AL West is important, but let's just focus on it from more of a playoff getting in perspective. Cleveland plays Detroit next week. You're now a full game up on Detroit, which is 2 because you have the tiebreaker. We're getting to the point that it doesn't really matter who wins Detroit and Cleveland. Cleveland might win the Central. They're a game back. So if those two teams beat up on each other, you're going to be clear of both. So it doesn't really matter anymore. I was at a point where like, oh man, come on, Detroit, beat them. Now, I don't really care. If Cleveland beats them, great. We've cleared the Tigers. When I say cleared, I don't mean like it's a permanent that we're guaranteed, but we're ahead of them. So Detroit losing is fine too, right? There's nothing wrong with that. Either that would help secure a playoff spot as well. Detroit then after Cleveland plays Boston, another team you are ahead of. More than likely, those teams will kind of hopefully all beat up on each other enough that it should be enough that the Mariners go like win 3 or 4 more games they're probably in, would be my guess on this. So we'll certainly see how it plays out, but wanted to go over that. Okay, back to the division. Mariners are the 2nd seed right now. They are 3 games behind Toronto. Did Toronto lose or are they still playing? I think they lost. Toronto, where are you? Toronto lost. Mariners are 3 games back of Toronto then with 7 to play. The one problem with that is they don't have the tiebreaker on the Blue Jays. Also, I mean, the Jays are only 2 up on the Yankees in the AL East. That's back in play a little bit too. And unfortunately, Mariners don't have the tiebreaker with the Yankees either. That's going to make that tough. If Toronto goes 3-4 over the final 7, you would have to go undefeated to pass them. Not trying to be a Debbie Downer with it. I don't see them getting the 1 seed. And then if Toronto drops, the Yankees are probably playing well enough to pass them. 1 seed is going to be tough. But as I said earlier, I'm also not super worried about the 1 seed, to be honest. The 2 seed is huge because you get the wild card off. The 1 seed would be nice. I'd love to, if the Mariners got to the ALCS, have home field advantage. But I'm not going to, like, in a best of 7, be that obsessed with it. I think you can still manage your way through that. The Mariners are a game clear of the Tigers as well. That's for the 2 seed. So go all these teams, but most importantly, go Mariners. And that's going to be the key here. Okay, I'm done. I'm sorry if that was one of my worst recaps. I mean, I probably should have done a live for this one. I am just absolutely exhausted on cloud 9 with this team. They have stepped up and done everything we needed them to do. Go finish this tomorrow. Have a great night, everybody. Enjoy the victory. Celebrate it. Take care. Like, comment, subscribe. And as always, go Mariners. Peace.